Do you remember when we first started this journey together? We ventured forth and forged a bond. Made to unite, made to perform. It was a new partnership. We found new ways to excel despite the odds. We were built for each other. It was the first time I felt like I belonged, like I was a part of something bigger. Together we faced adversity and embraced it. And with you by my side, I've become better, more durable, stronger. Because what others see as limitations, I see as strength. Our community has fueled my fire. Together we've rewritten the narrative, unlocking doors to a world of possibility. I'm proud of the journey we've taken, to be a part of something truly groundbreaking. I see a world where limitations are shattered and possibilities unlocked. Performax, empowering athletes and redefining limits for 25 years.
Out of bounds it goes, and the Razorbacks will have a 10-point lead. That's
why I had to do it like a little bit.
That's how you check it to make sure at the end of each quarter, check it to make sure that you got the right. This is, who scored what. That's depending on the minute. Coach will come over and say, how many points does this person have? They may have give that all. To score on impact. He asks you how many points you three, you got to count on it. So what I do, if I build up this score, and he said points is 23, I'm going to just count 6 points. And then you move. You got to count. You can have
No, I'm not eating sugar for 30 days or meat. I'm on day 11. Doing pretty well
11 days where they eat our sugar.
without eating sugar.
Now, is it okay if you eat stuff that's got sugar in it that you don't know?
I'm trying not. I'm a diabetic, so I know what.
So am I.
I know what has sugar in it. So
But I eat a Reese's cup of Reese's.
my sugar dropped the other day. And I was
Robinson, we've seen this play before, and he's got 14. So many fast break points. Robinson, unstoppable.
I think that's the 7th transition bucket that I've got him, maybe 8, but they've really.
Well, you said 7 last time,
So
let's,
8.
let's call
Okay,
it 8.
8, okay. Couldn't remember, yeah.
Dr. Schneider, of course, trying to keep all the stats in his head while calling excellent color commentary, and I just get to make a little fun of him on the one time that he makes a minor error. It's a tough racket here, Doctor. And Divell gets his first 2. It's back to 19 points.
And maybe that can get him started. That was a good look, a good-looking shot, nothing but net. Maybe that's the thing that gets the Razorbacks started. They are the number 1 seed. I wouldn't count them out yet.
Robinson, right side, wheeling and dealing at will. Johnson doesn't get there to defend. Robinson with a rare miss, and here comes Glassbrenner. It's a 19-point lead. It's been as high as 21. Can they cut into it more as they head into this half? We'll talk about halftime strategies at the appropriate time. Johnson had trouble handling the pass. He's been a good outside shooter for the Razorbacks. Clock at 8, nothing to panic. You can see great defense, bailed out by the foul. We call for his 4th.
Good defense, but it was still a little too far. So the defenders were able to collapse on the shooter and made it a difficult possession. We'll see what they can do here with some seconds left.
All right, and inbounding for the Rollin Razorbacks is Irvin. Irvin to Divell. Divell puts it up. He's well short.
He didn't seem really committed to that shot. Like, he thought about it, like, do I want to do this? And sometimes as a shooter, when you're not committed, that's what the result is.
It did look a little bit funny, and we've got a good crowd across the court here watching this D3 championship. Look at that pass, that dime into The Lobos, Reynoso, he's now at 10. What a pass on that one.
Beautiful pass and beautiful catch. Catches it, just puts it up and in.
And we're doubled up again, 42-21. Into Glassbrenner. Glassbrenner has to dish it back out. And doesn't get the roll is Irvin. Irvin's shot no good. Rebounded by Yares. Yares comes down the court, over to Ibrahim. Ibrahim rattled backwards. Good deflection there. Glassbrenner unable to control it, but was able to disrupt the play, and they'll have to inbound from the baseline.
Again, that was good hands right there to stop the transition.
We've got 41 seconds here in this first half, inbounded by Castro. Castro gets it to the reliable Robinson. Robinson over to Reynoso. Reynoso looking for something interior. Ibrahim had slipped in there, is in there. Now trying to get out is Ibrahim. Instead, Reynoso puts it up, no good, but it's rebounded by the Lobos, and if they burn the clock, they'll take the last shot of this one. First half into Ibrahim. Ibrahim tipped by Glassbrenner. 14 on the shot or on the game clock, and Glassbrenner comes down the court, hoping to cut the lead to 19. A long three and an offensive charge called. You could see Reynoso looking back saying, what did I do? And in fact, he didn't do anything. Glassbrenner called for the foul. 6.4 seconds. That gives the Lobos a chance to get their largest lead.
And a lot of people might be asking who watch able-bodied basketball, how is that a foul? It's because the person on the offense initiated the contact there, which is why that was called.
There we go, and let's see the Hail Mary pass into a wide-open Reynoso, no good, and that's how it'll end. What an impressive performance by the Tucson Lobos as they double up the Arkansas Rollin Razorbacks, 42-21. We'll get a few thoughts from Dr. Cord on how the Razorbacks can claw their way back into this one, and then we'll take a break.
I think they need to figure out what to do defensively because it's just been too easy in the paint, way too many transition buckets, 8 transition buckets, a lot of points in the paint. Got to figure out how to deal with the size. The size and length of the Lobos has really been the story both on the offensive and defensive end. Got to start making some stops on the defensive end. Maybe that leads to transition, gets them back in the game.
I'll also note some bench points for these Lobos have been decent. They've gotten some really good support from Castro with 4 and Ibrahim with 2. So 6 points off the bench. I mean, the Razorbacks only have 21. So to have 6 bench points against a total team score of 21, some good play there from the Lobos getting in additional players. We didn't see that at the D1 level yesterday as we covered the semifinal games, mostly the starting 5 getting a lot of the points.
One of the things surprising to me about both these rosters is how many people are on them. This is 2 of the larger rosters we've seen in both of the weekends, both the youth and adult level, and it's really cool to see that the depth is paying off with some bench points being scored.
Indeed, yes, and with those words, we will take a break. We have 13 minutes and 50 seconds left on the break. We will see you shortly. There's us. I'm Todd Pettit, who can never find the camera. To my right, Dr. Kort Schneider. See you soon. right, we're going to go live shortly here. So if the screens can match up. Welcome back to the Henrico Sports and Event Center here in Glen Allen, Virginia, just outside of Richmond. We're here with the first championship of the day, the D3, the the adults D3 Wheelchair National Basketball Association Championship will award the first of those 3 crystal trophies sitting behind the right hoop. And that right now is looking to be the Tucson Lobos. They carry a commanding 42-21 lead into this third quarter. We'll see if the Razorbacks can claw their way back into this one. And I am joined to my right by Dr. Court Schneider as my color commentator, stat keeper, and all-around do-gooder in the disability community. We're here in Court 16, the championship court. They've reconfigured the Henrico Sports and Event Center. Got a sound wall up, and this feels like the big dance. Dr. Schneider, your thoughts?
First half really dominated by the Lobos, and it was really the length on both offense and defense. You can't coach or teach height. Really bothered the Razorbacks. The Razorbacks are going to have to figure out how to disrupt that entry pass, because on offense, the Lobos are able to enter the ball into the paint so easily in that first half. If the Razorbacks have any shot, it's got to start with that. They've also had difficulty getting good looks and clean looks on the offensive end. Again, disrupted by the length of the Lobos. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think these first 4 minutes coming out of the halftime break are going to be key if the Razorbacks are going to get back into it. Coaches talk about that all the time. That first 4 minute transitioning out of the half, so key. Going to be key if the Razorbacks are going to make any type of run. And they are the #1 seed, highly touted. They've been punched in the face a little bit. How do they respond? Like Mike Tyson once said, everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the face. How do they respond when they've been punched in the face?
Mike Tyson quote being used for the 4th time in 2 weekends here at the Henrico Sports and Event Center. Last weekend we did the Junior Nationals. Crowned 3 champions there. And our officiating crew takes the court. That's Christopher Nuanez, Frank Lewis, and Kendrick Ford.
I want to give a shout out to all the officials and volunteers over these 2 weekends, Todd. The commitment of all the people to put on this event, it's pretty amazing, and the officials do a lot of great work over these 2 weeks.
We talk about communities here. We've talked about what this sport means to people, bringing them together, giving them ability, giving them freedom. The official community is a really cool one. You will often see those guys hanging out together afterwards. They usually are pretty chummy, a lot of social media presence, and they hang out together. They are their own community as well. So I agree, a shout out to the officiating crews, to the volunteers that make this all possible. First possession of the second half will be for the Lobos, and that's with Robinson. Robinson dishes it back to Nyquist. Yaris with it. Yaris puts it up himself, and it's perfect. Carl Yaris starts the scoring, and it's a 23-point lead for the Lobos, their largest.
He has an interesting looking shot. He holds the ball high over his head, Yaris does, and just the way it comes off his hand, I like the way it looks, and that was a nice looking shot.
Usually when you say interesting, you don't mean good. I'm glad you recovered from that one. If you, you're set up on a blind date and you ask about the person and they say, well, they're interesting, that isn't always a good thing.
Well, what we know about Yares' shot is it's effective, and that's the most important thing, is that it goes down in the basket a lot.
Indeed it is. Well, there are athletes here on the court with some of their disability being in their hands, for example. Maybe their shooting hands, and forced to have a different looking style. And that's okay, because you know what? They find a way. They overcome. They adapt.
And that's a big part of the sport, and it's a great part of the sport, the athleticism of these athletes with disabilities, and we've seen it on display all weekend. It's basketball at the highest levels, and it's awesome to see how they've adapted and become great athletes.
Glassbrenner matches the bucket of Yaris, and let's see if he can complete the three-point play the hard way. He does, and the lead chipped into slightly, 44-24. Largest lead of the day for the Lobos has been 23. They lead by 20 now. Early here in the third quarter, time for the Razorbacks to get back in it, but they've got to solve the offensive juggernaut that has been the Lobos. There, another second attempt there. Good job by Reynoso to get his own, and then fouled by Irvin. Irvin will be called for the foul, his first, team first of the second half. And
that was good passing. There was a pass to the baseline, then a pass over, and got the good look. And they've been doing that all game. It's that second pass that's really been setting it up on the interior. Saw that again.
Here's Strickland for his first, and Strickland's off the bench for the Lobos. Bench points have been important for them. Lobos with a deep sigh, deep breath, and no good on his first attempt. Every shooter seems to have their own little foul shooting ritual. Lobos is a deep breath. We'll see. No good on that one. Maybe the Thundersticks had a little bit to do with it. I'm loving the atmosphere. We'd seen earlier in the early rounds of games the gym would go deathly quiet when a foul shooter was on the line. You know what? It's Championship Sunday. Yeah. You're a fan, and the opponent is on the free throw. Make some noise.
Make it hard. Make it harder.
Exactly. Be that sixth player. Underhanded look, the granny style by Irvin. No good. And able to get it as Glassbrenner fights for the second opportunity, and we've got a hold here. That's probably on Robinson, but let's wait for the call.
That was a good play right there. Just active hands, fighting for the ball, not giving up on the play is a really good job, and it leads to an increased possession. We'll see if they can cash in here and try to narrow this lead below 20. It's been 20 or above for quite some time.
It has. Strickland called for the foul on that one, inbounded to Divell. Divell now the acting point guard as they changed up their tactics from Glassbrenner having been the point guard at first. Glassbrenner with that keen eye, surveying, looking for something interior. Glassbrenner forced to take the long shot, no good. And easily rebounded by Strickland, who's off the bench.
Still nothing easy for the Razorbacks. The Lobos are challenging every shot, every opportunity, making things a little bit differently, just getting the shooters a little bit off their spot.
I love what the Lobos are doing. They brought in Rodenbaugh there. Rodenbaugh had a good shot at it, couldn't convert. The Lobos using a wide variety of their team. I wonder if that has a little bit to do with just keeping the team fresh. You've got a 20-point lead. Here is Glassbrenner. Glassbrenner takes a good-looking shot. A little too hard off the glass. Yaris dishes it off to Robinson. And, hey, have we seen this play before? And it has the same result. Robinson picks up his 16th point. He's looking to be the MVP of this one. If it stays with the Lobos, he has been Mr. Fast Break.
He really has, and that's been one of the big differences in this game is that the Lobos have gotten easy transition points. I count 18 of them so far in this game, whereas the Razorbacks I don't think have gotten any transition points.
Up it goes. Divell's shot no good, and like you said, everything difficult for these Razorbacks. And let's see the call here. I don't know what that call. Oh, timeout. Timeout was the call.
You know, one of the things that I love about wheelchair basketball is it's such a team game because of the way that it's played. You don't have a lot of one-on-one, and so defense is really a team game in all of basketball for sure, but particularly in wheelchair basketball. To play good defense, you've really got to work as a unit. It's 5 people on the floor knowing where their roles are, fighting through the screens and making everything a little difficult. And I've just been really impressed the way that the Lobos defenders are connected to each other, and they're defending as a unit, making all of the entry passes, all of the shots just a little bit more difficult and making life difficult for the Razorbacks all game long.
There is Dr. Schneider with a minimum number of times he must use the word difficult, and he's met his quota for the day. Yaris will inbound it. Yaris not the point guard looking type, but he's a very capable ball handler as he steadily and slowly comes down the court. A very deliberate offense now by these Lobos. I think they realize that the clock is our friend. There's a great shot by Shane Rodenbaugh. He picks up his 6th. They're playing a deliberate style now. It seems to be, hey, we know the clock is on our side. We're doubling them up. We've got a 24-point lead. They don't need to rush this game.
And that was a beautiful looking shot off the window. And again, everything has been easy for them on the offensive side of the ball.
It's been the story of this one here, as this top-seeded Razorbacks have all they can handle. What a great look there by Glassbrenner on the feed. That was a nice dish from Johnson with the dime. Glassbrenner with the bucket. And they pulled it within 22, 48-26.
That was a really nice shot in traffic.
Yaris tipped by Irvin. Irvin out of bounds off of Irvin. It'll stay here. Lobos ball. Lobos having an easy time of it. They've really led coast to coast in this one.
It's really never been in doubt from the first minute.
Robinson thought about it instead. The dish to Radaba, and he gets the roll. Radaba has been hot. He's got 6 this second half.
And you know it's your day when it hangs on the rim and decides to go down, and it just might be the Lobos' day.
And I think that's not a very aggressive call, Dr. Schneider. It has been their day, and they have a huge lead. Another nice 1-2 punch there. Johnson in to Glassbrenner. Glassbrenner unable to make the bunny, but he's fouled on the attempt by Yaris. Yaris picks up his second.
The last 2 trips down the floor, I like what the Razorbacks have done. They've tried to get it inside in the paint to try to create some opportunities. Good ball action that time.
They're going to need to pick up the pace on the defensive side, both from a time perspective and causing some more turnovers if they hope to claw their way back into this one. Trailing by 24, 5:25 to go here at the Henrico Sports and Events Center, Glen Allen, Virginia, just outside of Richmond. Championship Sunday, don't go anywhere. We've got a huge slate of games, and we're going to build up to that culmination of the D1 game, the Punishers versus the Mavericks, and we'll preview that one in a bit. Here comes Yaris. Yaris streaking into the lane was Radabau, but he wasn't seen. Yaris wheels, deals. Tipped away by Glassbrenner. Glassbrenner's everywhere. And he's been poking balls left and right on both sides of the ball.
And again, I really appreciate the effort. Down so far, not hanging his head, still in there scrapping, trying for every possession. You got to like that effort.
For the Lobos, in comes the starter, Carlos Reynoso. He has 10. The other double-digit scorer for the Lobos, of course, Robinson with 16. Spread out scoring attack by these Lobos. Shot clock violation. And that's the first one we've seen of those. I think they're a little surprised by that. I don't know that they knew how much time was on the shot clock. But with 23-point victory, I don't think, or a margin of error, a lead, I don't think you'll get a lot of sympathy from the refs. And there we are. I'm Todd Pettit. Hello, everyone. To my immediate right, Dr. Court Schneider. We'll have a full crew here for the D1 game. We'll feature statistician, play-by-play, and color. And that is going to be the Mavericks versus the Punishers. Dr. Schneider, what do you think about that one?
I'm super excited. It's a contrast in styles. Outside shooting from the Mavericks. Mavericks have won a lot of national championships. I think 17 of them over the history of the National Wheelchair Basketball Association. The Punishers, first time in, I don't think they've ever won. First time in a while they've been in the finals. And they are a team that is big on the inside, and they love to get the ball down low, whereas Dallas has a balanced attack. I will say for the Punishers, I don't know how you stop Dallas's balanced offensive attack. They've got 4 or 5 people capable of dropping double digits on you, and when you're playing a wheelchair basketball team like that, it is difficult to stop, but it's going to be a contrast in styles, and we'll see what happens.
And thank you, Doctor. As we come back into play here in the third quarter, just under 5 to go, I remind you that we are supported in the booth by an outstanding crew: Parms Cartwright, Mike Steckel, Chris Shrews, Vera Gillespie, and Nikki DeSantis. Thanks for making us look and sound good. And thanks to all of you watching out there. We appreciate it. Johnson rolls in right side, wide open. Why would you leave a shooter open? Because he's just going to do that. Johnson now 10 points.
Impressive move. He was patient along the baseline, got to his spot, and sunk the shot.
Into Reynoso, the dangerous pass from Robinson. Reynoso unable to convert the bunny, and Johnson fights for it, and I think we're going to get a foul here on Robinson. Robinson had not been happy with that shot clock violation. Now will be even less happy with his first foul.
I think that was a little bit of a frustration foul. They had a good look. They had got a miss. And sometimes in frustration, you just kind of slapping at the ball. I think that's what Robinson did there.
It's a 21-point lead here. It's not insurmountable, but if the Lobos lose their composure, they only one out. The Razorbacks find themselves in this game. Can they rattle them? Let's find out if they can get a couple of stops and a couple of hits. It could change the momentum. Right now, everything going the Lobos' way. They lead by 21, 3:55 to go here in the third quarter. There's Johnson wheeling and dealing. Jared Johnson in the lane. He's fouled, and let's see if he can be a sharpshooter from the free throw line.
He's been really patient on the offense. I love watching the way he slowly maneuvers the picks to his spot. 2 possessions have done that.
And roughly at score here, Jesse Robinson. He's second ball right away, having a conversation with the referees. Again, straighted on that long pass to Reynoso, which ultimately didn't work. Picked on the transition, and then picked up another foul down here on the defensive side of it. I'm not going to say that the Lobos are in any sort of trouble or anything like that, but again, if you look for ways that they could get back in it as the Razorbacks, one of them would be for their shooting star and all-around speedster Robinson to go on tilt, as they say.
Yeah, or to stop the clock with fouls. You don't want to stop the clock if you're the Lobos. You want the clock to keep moving because you're up by a large margin. You don't want to stop the clock. So you got to keep your cool here as we head into the latter part
Jared
of
Johnson
the third
unable
quarter.
to make either of those free throws, but the rebound battle won by the Razorbacks, and they maintain possession. Let's see if Glassbrenner can do something here. He gets in the lane, and he's stuck there, and a shot missed by Divell. And the rebound stays with the Razorbacks, so they'll get yet a third chance here. 3:33 to go in this third quarter. All threes, as they say, and then 20 on the shot clock. Let's see if the Razorbacks can find a bucket here.
That's a difficult shot that he just took, though, from that location up under in a chair, trying to get the angle. Just couldn't quite get it.
Good camera angle here from our booth. We thank them for the multiple angles. Glassbrenner dishes over to Johnson. Johnson into a wide open look. No good as Patron can't make the bucket. And have we seen this play before? It's 3 on none. And a rare miss.
I think that's the first time he's missed that shot all game. I think that's the first time he's missed that shot all game.
We've sort of called that, as the ball gets to Patron, we've sort of called that a little bit off his game is Robinson. Now, again, they're up by 21. They're living in prosperous times. But Robinson has not played a complete game, but there he fights for the foul there. Lucky he didn't get called for the foul there. The ball able to be tipped to Irvin. Irvin secures it. Here it is with Glassbrenner. 4 on the shot clock. Does Glassbrenner know it? He does. Up it goes. Looked good, wasn't good. And Strickland secures the rebound, and now we'll get a whole foul the other way.
And so,
Jared
again,
Johnson
it's
called
been
for that one.
really impressive by the Lobos. Got a couple more championship games coming up, so don't go anywhere after this one.
We'll have that at 2 o'clock, the big one, and at noon we will have the D2 Men's National Championship. And not many people can say they're a national champion, and there will be 3 teams today leaving here that will be able to say that on a nice bucket by the Lobos, and they continue their domination, 52-29. It's really been all Lobos. We've had brief moments where the Razorbacks have looked like they could find their way in it, but just every time something goes their way, the powerful team, and that was a dangerous fall. We've seen 2 of those now. Glassbrenner, and see, he doesn't look like he hit his head. He has played with everything. And that foul is going to go on the Lobos. Rodenbaugh.
That's always a scary because he caught the ball, and as he caught the ball, the momentum of the catch took him down, so he couldn't protect himself. Glad that wasn't hurt there. Doesn't look like he was hurt.
Indeed. You can see here a little dancing game by Irvin, or by Reynoso and Glassbrenner. Winning the battle would be the Lobos.
You know, Todd, the reality's probably setting in for the Razorbacks. Hey, we're not going to win the national championship, but they should not hang their heads. Still a great season. Going to finish as the number 2 team in Division III this year. What a great season for them, and that's just really amazing. And they shouldn't hang their heads at the overall result, even though today didn't quite go the way they thought it might.
That is true. A nice pass there as Robinson finds the lane. He has been everywhere, and I think if we start talking about the MVP, I think the conversation has to start with Jesse Robinson.
I think so too. He's been everywhere, really put his imprint on the game, set the tone early, and they've never looked back.
Good. Glassbrenner not giving up, finding his way into the lane, the swivel, the pivot, in it goes. And Glassbrenner, I appreciate his effort. He still is wheeling hard.
I really liked his chair skills in that last one. He was able to maneuver his chair and put up a good shot.
Matched by Robinson, and he is now at 20. Robinson scoring at will for the Tucson Lobos. They look like they will walk or roll away with the national championship here. 10 minutes left in this one, 10 and change, as Glassbrenner dishes to Johnson. Johnson, a very good shooter from this spot, but he's got hands in his face, dishes to Patron. Patron fouled, and it looks like it's going to be on Nyquist. No, apologies, Patron. Let's see. Nyquist.
Coaches talk about championships being about attitude. Something I want to point out. Lobos are in total control of this game, up by 25 points as we're headed to the end of the third quarter. They're still contesting every shot, fighting through every screen. Attitude and the culture of this team is clear, and how they're still playing up 25 points, still playing with that defensive effort. You got to love that if you're their coach.
There we go. Patron's first shot, no good. Let's see, his second one is up and good. And the lead is 24. 33 seconds to go in this third quarter. 24-point lead, and the Lobos have kept up their end of the bargain in terms of scoring. The high-scoring Arizona Rollin Razorbacks scoring 78, 77, and 60. They are looking like they're going to have a pattern of continually dropping their offensive output in this tournament. And so maybe peaking in game one isn't quite where you want to be. But again, like you said, nothing to hang their head in shame. They're coming away with the silver medal and continuing to fight hard as Glassbrenner. That'll end the third quarter. It's a 24-point lead. 56-32. We've got 10 minutes more here, and you can see even after the third quarter, this one's not over, and the athletes still exchanging pleasantries and high fives. This is not, yes, they want to win. Absolutely they want to win, but they realize the community that is wheelchair basketball. We'll take a quick break, and we'll join you soon. And we're back. At the start of the fourth quarter, it's all Lobos. The Tucson Lobos lead the Arizona Rollin Razorbacks 56-32 at the Henrico Sports and Event Center here in Richmond, Virginia. We've got the men's D3 adult National Wheelchair Basketball Association National Championship game in front of you. We've got two more after this, one at noon. That'll feature D2 and one that we've all been looking forward to. And we hope that Dr. Korsher to my right had not cursed game. He is semifinal lover, and boy, did we have two good semifinal games yesterday. First semifinal game was a 1-point victory for the Dallas Mavericks. The second semifinal game was a 2-point victory for the Punishers.
And both games were amazing. Both games started out with one team jumping out on top and then another team clawing back, and it was just an amazing day of basketball yesterday in the semifinal round. Going to be hard to top that today.
You can see here Jesse Robinson spilled out of his chair, helped out by his teammates. And we will restart as the Lobos will get offensive possession for the quarter. And really just 10 minutes here. We'll see how to treat this. We have a new entrant in for the Lobos. That's Sandoval, Richard Sandoval in. He's on the right side of the hoop. And big smile when he came to the scorer's desk to check in.
It would not surprise me to see both coaches make sure that a lot of people get some national championship experience to get a little taste of it on the floor.
Castro, shot no good. She has 4. Misses that one, and the Razorbacks come down the court. Glassbrenner has Irvin on his right, but there with the defense is Castro. Adrina Castro defending, and Glassbrenner able to get around down the middle of the lane, and he's got 13.
He's continued to fight despite their position. You really got to love his effort despite where they're at.
Interesting pass there by the Lobos as they're keying on Sandoval, and you heard the crowd erupt in noise and cheers and celebration. Sandoval coming off the bench, off the deep bench of the Lobos and scoring, and they have now scored with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Lobos.
And that was set up by a beautiful entry pass and a catch and just put it in the bucket.
I was questioning why Robinson was throwing such a long assist, but seeing Sandoval on the recipient, no question longer. Great effort there by Glassbrenner, missing his first shot and continuing with it, getting his own rebound. In it goes. Glassbrenner has 15. Another to Sandoval. Sandoval up and in it goes. And why wasn't he starting? Sandoval has looked good on those 2 possessions on the dimes from Robinson. Robinson doing it all.
Yeah, Robinson really set both those last 2 up, but you gotta love that if you come in, your first 2 shots go in. That's got to feel good in the national championship game.
That foul is going to be called on the Lobos. I apologize. Yes, the Lobos. Adrina Castro called for her first. 60-36, 24-point game here. 7:49 to go in the 4th quarter. And the Lobos shooting, left side cannot see as they're shooting the national championship trophy that awaits them. A crystal globe on top of a black onyx base. And
it's a beautiful trophy.
It is a beautiful trophy. At this point, I think that trophy is heading west to Tucson.
Just a really impressive day of basketball from the Lobos. They really took control of this game, Todd, from the jump, and they've really been in control since minute 1.
They have. 60-38. Glassbrenner good on his second attempt. Here's Robinson. He's faster than everybody, and he just had a wide open look in the lane. The only way to stop him is to foul him.
That's there. Nobody stopped the basketball, so he just took it down the court. He's been doing that all the game. They didn't have an answer for the length, but also the speed of him, and he's really been an initiator and an igniter.
Robinson feeling it, and he makes it. He's got 22, and I don't think there's another consideration for MVP, but if you have to pick a runner-up, who's on your mind, Doctor?
I think that's a tough one. They've had so much from so many different contributors. I think it's so far and away Robinson that I don't even know if there is a second one that you could say.
I'll offer an opinion to that one. I'll go Yaris. I think he really helped set the tone early. He's been on the bench for a while now, and I think that's just because of the prosperity the Lobos have enjoyed. He really was that big presence, that physical presence that changed the structure of the game for these Razorbacks, really put them off their game. 8 points, so good offensive production, certainly not matching Robinson. But Yares gets my vote for runner-up MVP.
I think he's definitely the defensive player of the game because he disrupted so much of their offense with his length and his fighting over top and through screens.
Sandoval on the miss there. He's now 2 for 3 off the bench. And fighting hard still is Jeff Glassbrenner. And if somehow the Razorbacks were to come back from this 22-point deficit with 7 minutes to go, it would be Glassbrenner for the match. He's been everywhere.
Played a great game and has continued to play hard.
Robinson heals. If he chooses, thinks about it. Instead looks, do I have someone open? He's an unselfish player.
Also would be surprised as far they would be 3-point shots.
Again, they would do that, and there a Lobo score. Will Sykes, 9 Lobo now on the score sheet.
That was set up by the ball movement. Changed the floor, good ball movement, let them look. They've been doing that game. Move their bodies on the ball, big offense.
And here we've seen this play before, but a lazy up for Robinson there. He looks like his heart wasn't in that one.
His chair was moving, and he just didn't calibrate it quite enough.
Performax could have helped him with that calibration, I suppose. Oh, my goodness. We've seen that 3 times today. Jeff Glassbrenner dangerously falls to the ground in the lane. Obviously stopping play are the referees. That's safety of the utmost turn here. And talk about Performax, the sponsor of this stream event. We appreciate they celebrate 5 years in business, and they have been empowering athletes and non-athletes off and on the court.
Yeah, it's really impressive what they've done, and you can't overstate, again, the importance of equipment that allows people with disabilities to do the things they want to do, and that's what Performax represents, using equipment to promote community access and inclusion.
Dr. Schneider, if Performax got into a line of arm crutches, do you think you might look their way?
I might. These wheelchairs are impressive, and I have to say that you see these, almost everyone uses the Performax, and they're quite the impressive chairs.
Well, it's owner, Chris, a disabled athlete himself, I believe an amputee, and so he knows what it means to have the very best equipment. As the Razorbacks trail by 24, 5 to go here. And not much left to decide, just will we get some bench points? And there's one by Pickens, and I had a chance to stop by and talk with the family of Pickens. As done, let's took a small break. They are by far the loudest contingency here, and I knew when J1 Pickens got his 6th that they would be right in the face of. Did you see that from Glassbrenner? I think the Lobos were surprised that no foul call. Glassbrenner just took over there, and he has really not given up. And that's a media timeout here for us. We have 4:34 to go here in this fourth quarter. We've got 64-42, but we have 2 games remaining here. And I believe, let's get those games teed up for you. At the 2 o'clock game is the big one. That's the D1 Adult National Championship event. That's going to feature 2 juggernauts featuring multiple Paralympians on both sides, the Dallas Mavericks and the Punishers. That's at our 2 o'clock tip. For our noon tip, that's the D2, and that will be the LA Clippers chairman versus the San Antonio Spurs. So
and we
Spurs,
saw the LA Clippers chairman. They were one of our games yesterday. Quite an impressive team. They remember that game, it was 39-37 at the half, and then they really clamped down defensively in the second half. They've got a lot of offensive weapons as well. So 2 exciting games left, and you talked about the big one at 2 o'clock. Again, can't wait for that. The sheer talent on the floor, the contrast of styles. Both these games coming up, don't go anywhere. Again, it's wheelchair basketball. Basketball of all. If you're a basketball lover of any kind, wheelchair or non, please check out these next 2 games. It's going to be incredible.
Why would you be anywhere else? As we get ready to start this final segment, the Thunder Sticks are out. You can see the crowd building around us. The ones that stayed for the first game, we had a third, fourth place game here. They've stayed for the second game. We expect the crowd to continue to stay, and that cumulative festival effect kind of bringing in more and more Thunder Sticks. And there we go. Oh, my goodness. That's probably the longest basket we've had by Jared Johnson. He's at 12, and that hung up there what seemed like forever. That was Tiger Woods-esque with his Nike ball hovering over the cup.
He's played a good game as well, not giving up as well, tried to get his shot off. Even though they're not going to win today, I don't think the Razorbacks have anything to hang their head about.
You can hear the fans of the Razorbacks. They're to our back and right. They are still chanting defense, defense. They are still rooting for their team. Yes, they're down by 20. I love the passion. I love the effort. I love the enthusiasm. But I also love the shooting style of Jesse Robinson, and you just can't contain him.
That is, the word I would use is smooth. That was just very smooth. He just wheeled, found a spot, and it was a beautiful looking shot.
Silky smooth is Jesse Robinson. Into Glassbrenner. Glassbrenner on the assist from Johnson. Yes, it falls. And Glassbrenner Johnson still working hard, battling hard. 3:25 to go here. And we'll get another Lobos off the bench. That's going to be Miguel Aboita. Miguel Aboite ready to come in at the next stoppage. Maybe they'll take a timeout. We'll see.
Another great feed from Robinson there that set that up. Just a beautiful pass and catch.
Robinson doing it all. He's our selection for MVP. We don't get to make that choice, of course. We're just a couple of big mouths behind microphones, but I believe the selection committee is going to agree with us on that one.
Yeah, he's really just dominated this game and played a complete basketball game, offensively, defensively.
Now the one thing that will happen, the Lobos very likely to move up to D2. And that will obviously be some more competition for them next year.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how they do with that jump up.
There's the Lobos shooter. Will Sykes unable to connect, and we've got some subs coming in for the Razorbacks. We'll see Lexus Mallet and Micah Stafford. And it looks like Chris Jensen all coming in for the Razorbacks as they trail by 18. Razorbacks again not giving up the fight. They continue to battle hard, and there's Johnson coming off.
And that's the thing that I've been impressed with. And again, just want to salute both these teams for making it this far. It is a long wheelchair basketball season. Starts in September, October. Tough days of practice. You're doing all kinds of workouts in the weight room, all those kind of things. A lot of these individuals also have careers outside of wheelchair basketball, so they're juggling that as well. To get this far and have this great a season, pretty incredible.
Absolutely. You don't always see them on the court, but I'll tell you, if you have 10 at the practice, that makes 5-on-5 scrimmages possible, and that's invaluable to be able to play in a real game setting in the practice sessions. All right, and we'll see there, a nice shot by Ibrahim. Rihanna Ibrahim picks up her fourth. And the Razorbacks, sporting 3 new team members, come down the court, led, of course, by Glassbrenner. Glassbrenner, I suspect, and Unselfish will look for one of the new entrants, and he does. And that is Fryer, Bill Fryer, unable to make the shot. And let's see what Robinson does with it. He does elect for the shot, and he took his time. And Robinson puts it back to a 22-point lead, 72-50. And they've lived up to their scoring, the highest output here for the Lobos. They had scored in the 60s their last 3 games. They'll be in the 70s this one. And a nice dish here to Stafford. Stafford puts it up. No, can't get the roll. Rebounded by Sandoval. Sandoval tried to get it out to a speedy Robinson, but there, never giving up was Glassbrenner to disrupt the play. You got to admire the way he's played hard here. And he takes a shot. It's perfect. And Glassbrenner has had himself a whale of a day. I have him at around 20. It looks like about, 20. We'll give him 20. And,
he's
really
also just impressed me. He's been like the human bruise. That's about 7 or 8 times he's hustled after a play, spilled out of his chair. Just his effort constantly doing despite being down. And the coach of the Lobos doing the right thing here, getting everybody some championship experience as we are going to round this one out. They're going to be the D3 championship. Robinson, your runaway sort of star of the game, but it really was a team effort, especially defensively. Just a really impressive day. And, Todd, it really was never in doubt. Early on, they came out, they hit, I think, 4 of their first 5 shots. And from that point on, it was not in doubt. They were able to clamp down and really take control of the game. Congratulations to both of these teams, as I said.
Well,
Great season.
Take a look at this huddle of the Razorbacks. They're down 20. They're not going to go away with the gold medal, the chip, whatever you want to call it. Look at Glassbrenner. He's still intent. That's a smile on his face. His teammates, none of them are hanging their head. Do you see a head hanging there? Not at all. Why? They're going to go out. They're going to play ball. They're happy to be here. They're in the championship game. That is not something that you get to say every day.
And you saw that there, Glassbender, with a fist bump to his coach after the timeout. So, again, just great attitude from everywhere around. Great first championship game. 2 more great ones to come today.
Ibrahim inbounds, and we've got a new Lobos on the court, and that looks to be Boita. Boita has the ball, slowly dribbles, looks to set up an offense. Weeks on his right side. Got some new entrants. Orozco on the left, and he's just content to dribble. There it is to Weeks. Weeks dishes back to Aboite. Aboite no good. Ibrahim can't battle for the rebound. It's Glassbrenner, and let's see what Glassbrenner does. He looks for some of his teammates. Good stoppage there by Aboite. Long 3, no good. Missed everything. 15 seconds here, 72-52, and I think that's the way this one is likely to end. I cannot see the Lobos aggressively pushing this one up the court. You see the chairman of the WNBA Board of Directors, Matt Pierre, at the championship table with Buddy Becker, I believe. I'm probably butchering his last name, and apologies for that. And they're lining it up. They're going to celebrate over here, and they'll have a happy ride back to Tucson. These Tucson Lobos getting it done here. And we've got our first D3 Adult Men's Championship in the books, 72-52. The Tucson Lobos defeat the Arkansas Rollin Razorbacks. No need to dissect this one, Dr. Court. The Lobos just led start to finish on the back of Jesse Robinson. Lots of fast break points, just a complete dominance, and you can see them celebrating and hugging underneath the hoops. And you know what? The Razorbacks ready to line up for handshakes here. And that's the way it should be. I love the passion, love the energy. Any final thoughts, Dr. Court?
You know, I think that's really true. A great game today by the Lobos, but I love the passion on both sides because remember, this just isn't about wheelchair basketball. It's about advocacy and community. But they've accomplished something great, both of these teams. But congratulations to the Lobos. They, for the rest of their lives, get to say they are a national champion. Everybody on that team, and it was a team effort defensively. You know, Robinson was the star, but it really was a team effort. And congratulations to the Razorbacks. Good effort throughout the tournament. They came in as the #1 seed. They fell short today, but you got to love the effort and what they brought. And this sport means so much to so many people. When you talk to people about wheelchair basketball, Todd, they don't just say, oh, the sport's important. They say, it gave me access. It changed my life. And we're seeing it today as they're hugging each other as they walk through the line. Great sportsmanship here and great first championship game.
Championship Sunday here at the Henrico Sports and Events Center. Why would you go anywhere else? We'll see you in 22 minutes.